The GOP has faced a tremendous defeat in Wisconsin, losing to the liberal Supreme Court judge in the state. Now, the fears are that they're going to use the courts to gerrymander, take away two congressional seats. Using this power, they expect to take Congress in 2026 and impeach Donald Trump in 2027. But it's not all bad. Voter ID has been enshrined in the Constitution in Wisconsin, so this is going to fundamentally alter how these elections actually take place. Down in Florida, the Republicans swept all of their special elections. Now, when we look at what happened in Wisconsin, the current results have the Democrat winning by around 260,000. I believe it's about 250,000 votes. Many liberals are saying, see, this proves Elon Musk and Donald Trump are not popular. But I reject that. I actually think the reality is Democrats rally when they're panicked and your average voter doesn't turn out when things are good. And when you look at Donald Trump's approval rating right now, it's the best of his career. It was slightly higher when he first got elected, but we'll call it the honeymoon period. Right now, in aggregate, Trump's approval rating is within the margin of error. This means your middle of the road voters are not going to be motivated to come out. Still, Republicans did pretty dang well. With that being said, there are certain people contending that the Democrats cheated. In order to cheat an election, you don't need to actually cheat in every single county in every party of the state. You just need to swing some specific areas to get you the win. I don't know that I actually believe it. The argument is that the percentages of votes in certain counties are identical to previous elections. Again, don't know if I actually believe it. It's an interesting argument, which we'll go through. What I think we are seeing is the difficulties in any political environment such as ours. We are a near 50-50 country. Donald Trump may have won the popular vote, but it was not the majority by about 0.2%. Democrats argue that proves it. But here's the reality. In 2024, what I think we see is people are fed up with the Biden administration, the failings in the economy, and they say, we need change. People are largely satisfied. For those that are on political grounds where they wanted to see the gutting of the deep state and the bureaucratic state, people like me, maybe like you, were particularly excited. We like what Elon Musk, Doge, and Donald Trump have done so far, particularly with deportations and border security. But for your run-of-the-mill voter, particularly in like a swing state like Wisconsin, they're not going to be as motivated. If Trump is doing everything well, they're not paying attention politically. So I see this as twofold. Some people are upset with Elon and Trump, and that's true. Some people. And they're going to swing left. But the reality is with Trump's general approval rating, I think same thing that happened in 2018. People who like Donald Trump are satisfied with how things are going, and they don't pay attention, and they don't show up unless Trump himself is on the ballot. But write this down, my friends, and we'll go through where we are at with Doge, because the reporting now is that Elon Musk may soon be out. That's right. Donald Trump says he likes what Musk is doing, but he may be a political liability. Of course, this report is coming from Politico, so I don't know that I actually believe it, to be completely honest. But let's break down what the projections are going into the midterms. Isn't it funny? Trump's been in office for 2 months, and we're already talking about 2 years from now. It's pretty wild, but that's how serious things are. Now, funny enough, as many were saying, this is the apocalypse. You must go out and vote in Wednesday's election. Do not let the Democrats take the Supreme Court. Now it's a bit more chill. People are saying, well, look, we got voter ID, and this is going to fundamentally alter the structure of how these elections take place, meaning it's going to be very difficult for Democrats. That's for sure. That's their own argument, to be completely honest. And they can scream and cry and say it's cheating or whatever. But that just means they got a motivation problem. These mail-in votes ain't gonna get them over the line. But we'll see. We'll see. Just because they won with voter ID doesn't mean that Democrats aren't rallying the troops, fundraising like crazy. And with Donald Trump's victory, people are being reactivated. People on the left who didn't like Joe Biden, didn't pay attention, are being convinced. Not because of truth, whatever, but because there is a media machine that is seeking to rally these individuals. I'm also going to add, I got to be honest, I'm willing to bet that the majority of people who lost their jobs in the federal government likely were Democrats already, but are sure riled up now. So maybe this could be a rallying cry for these individuals. I want to give a shout out to Steven Crowder in the Mug Club. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Stephen, thank you for the shout out. Thank you for the raid on my morning show. Welcome to the Rumble lineup. I, of course, am your host, Tim Pool. You can follow me on X and Instagram at TimCast. Subscribe to this channel. Share the video right now with everyone you can. It really does help. If you want to see the show grow and expand and you like the work we do, we rely on you. But don't forget, my friends, we've got Cast Brew coffee available for each and every one of you. All these different beautiful flavors. Ian's Graphene Dream, of course, is in stock and going fast. Also, don't forget Stand Your Grounds, medium roast. We've got Rise with Roberto Jr. available. And for those viewers on Rumble, use promo code RUMBLE30 and you will get 30% off your entire order, even subscriptions. Don't forget to also head over to timcast.com, click Join Us, get involved in our Discord server. Don't just be a passive observer. Be an active participant. This is why we lose. This is exactly the point I'm going to be making. It's because the people who voted in November, in Wisconsin, everywhere, where Trump won every swing state, many of them were passive observers, meaning they may have seen the news. They may have said, you know what? I'm going to go and vote. So they did. Trump wins, and now they're satisfied, because they're not actively participating on a day-to-day basis with what's going on in this country. So when it comes time for a special election, I can't blame them. It's April 1st. Who even knew the election was taking place? Now, surprisingly, large voter turnout, 2.3 million so far, just in the race for the Wisconsin Supreme Court. So it is massive. But if you get plugged in and you are attuned, we cannot lose. Now, by all means, find any way you can to be active, to participate, make your own shows, make connections, comment, share, whatever you got to do. Watch Steven Crowder, watch Russell Brand, whoever you got to watch. But we here at Timcast, we say, join the Timcast Discord server with 20,000 plus individuals. There's chat rooms for fitness, for organizing, for making podcasts, comics, shows, music, whatever it is you got to do. Let's jump to the story, my friends. And again, smash that like button right now. From the post-millennial liberal judge, Susan Crawford wins Wisconsin Supreme Court seat. The result in Wisconsin follows two other special elections in Florida, where the GOP was able to maintain its control over two House seats. Now, my friends, it ain't just this. Now, I mentioned that Republicans win in Florida. Supreme Court justice wins for the Democrats, but they get voter ID. I kid you not. I saw this in the chat when we first started the show, and it is correct. A drag queen has been elected to the Kenosha School Board. Listen, if you are not actively participating and you are sitting back and watching and you miss these things, heavens help us, my friends, because this is the thing you'll get in your schools. I'll just say as an aside, my daughter will not be attending these schools. Ain't going to happen. But let's read the story from the Post-Millennial, and then we'll get into the hard numbers. The Wisconsin Supreme Court election has come to an end with liberal judge Susan Crawford beating conservative judge Brad Schimmel. The race was seen as a pivotal election, as it had the potential to determine the outcome of two U.S. congressional seats due to possible redistricting. According to The Hill, Crawford was able to get the win against Schimmel, bringing the Supreme Court seating to 4-3 in favor of the liberal judges. Leading up to the Wisconsin State Supreme Court election, Elon Musk said the result would, quote, affect the entire destiny of humanity, emphasizing its impact on the midterms. Quote, what's happening on Tuesday is a vote for which party controls the U.S. House of Representatives. That is why it is so significant. And whichever party controls the House, to a significant degree, controls the country, which then steers the course of Western civilization. I feel like this is one of those things that may not seem that it's going to affect the entire destiny of humanity, but I think it will. Musk told a town hall audience in Wisconsin on Sunday, later adding, we've got to pull a rabbit out of the hat. We actually have to have a steady stream of rabbits out of the hat. Like it's an arc of rabbits flying through the air and then landing in a voting booth, he added at the time. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries brought attention to the race after he said earlier this year that the race was key for Democrats because, quote, there are gerrymandered congressional lines right now in Wisconsin. Currently, there are two Republicans in the districts referenced by Jeffries, and redistricting the lines for the congressional boundaries could change the outcome of the midterms. Now, I got news for you, my friends. We don't know exactly where we're headed. In Florida, the Republicans sweep. In Wisconsin, the Democrats took the Supreme Court, which is going to give them some advantages, but voter ID actually won. Now, I'm going to go ahead and say it seems a little weird that voter ID would win against a judge. To my understanding, this judge was opposed to voter ID. So when people say, I have questions about this election, I say, it is strange, isn't it? We keep seeing anomalies like this. You'd think that people who want voter ID would also largely want the Republican judge, the conservative-leaning judge. Strange. But it happened. 2-1, Wisconsin said voter ID. I think it may actually be quite simple. Most people, even moderate Democrats, do not believe the left argument on voter ID. Sorry. They go on to say the comments from Jeffries sparked a strong get-out-the-vote effort from Republicans as well as Democrats. The result in Wisconsin follows 2 other special elections in Florida where the GOP was able to maintain its control over 2 House seats, one of which was more competitive, but ended in Republicans' favor. Now we have here the Wisconsin spring election results from the New York Times. And as we can see, as of right now, it is 55-45. Susan Crawford wins with, it's about 240,000, 234,000 or whatever. What am I doing? My math is way off. 248, probably still off. Around there, 240,000 votes was the lead. 10 points with a total reported of 2.3 million votes cast. I mean, that is massive. However, take a look at this. This one blows my mind. Aside from Madison and Milwaukee, the entirety of the state is in favor of voter ID. Now, how does that happen? Honest question. Democrats voted in favor of voter ID? I'll take it. Honestly, I don't see any other scenario. I don't think that they cheated to make sure the Democrat just won. I think the Democrat just won. And I think even Democrats, when you ask, are like, why not voter ID? They don't buy the arguments. We see it time and time again. They do these polls and it's an 80-20 issue. Most Americans are like, why not voter ID? I don't understand. What is the logical reason for not having IDs to vote? Now, here's what gets interesting. This is what matters. I got this clip from the Benny Show. Shout out to Benny Johnson that I want to play for you guys of Scott Pressler breaking down the significance of this election.
Guys, if you like Trump, this election should speak to you. Benny just said it to you. So here's what will happen. Let me put let me make this crystal clear. We don't win today. They will redraw the maps. We will likely lose the House. And on day 1 of 2027, they will impeach President Trump. And you are going to see the impeachment circus that started in 2019 rev up again. You are going to see our ability to have a good budget. All of those cuts that you like to see from Doge, etc., all those cuts are going to be reinstated. You're going to see funding of Ukraine. You're going to see funding of our enemies that despise everything of what it means to be an American citizen. You're not going to see money to secure the border. You're not going to see money for border patrol or border security. All of your dreams and hopes and visions, everything that we worked tirelessly to achieve on November 5th, 2024 is gone. You lose this election, we likely lose the House, they're going to impeach the president, or at least try to, and he will be a lame duck president. President Trump deserves to have all 4 years. And that's why, Benny, I dropped everything. I should be in Pennsylvania. I should be in New Jersey right now, but no, I'm in Wisconsin because this is the single most important election this year. Wartime Scott is telling you, you must come out and vote for Brad Schimmel today.
Well, they did it, my friends. They won. So does this mean it's as apocalyptic as it has been predicted? Don't worry, my friends. Fear not. The brave men and women of the GOP in Congress are making sure right now to defect, join the Democrats, and make sure that women who want to have babies while being in Congress don't have to show up to do their jobs. Yeah, I'm not kidding. We got this victory with Trump, and Trump is doing tremendous work right now. But this is bad. Florida is good. We don't know exactly how things are going to play out, but I will stress this again. The reason why I say people all need to be active participants in this political battle is because if you are just passive and you only vote when the election cycle comes around and you don't know these special elections are happening, we lose. We lose. And what happens then is all of the hard work of Trump is completely undermined. But I don't see us going in a good direction unless Trump wins. Trump is not going after American citizens. He is not arresting random American citizens. Joe Biden was. Trump didn't even arrest, invoking the Insurrection Act. He did not go after the leftists that were riding across this country. He didn't do it. Maybe he should have. But my point is, under a Trump presidency, you're safe. Even the bad guys, he says that's the state thing. State things do that. State law enforcement. Joe Biden, the Democrats did a nationwide manhunt for people who rioted in D.C. and some who didn't even riot at all. Should Trump lose and get impeached? The impeachment is largely symbolic, to be fair. He's not going to get convicted in the Senate. But he will be obstructed completely. His agenda will be over. And it's not even going to be 2027. With this election, Trump may only have a few months. Now, recently, they announced, I think I have the story here somewhere. You've got Elise Stefanik, who is now going to be ditching or moving away from her nomination. I believe it was UN ambassador. I could be wrong. She's going to be staying in Congress. The reason why? I think it's fairly obvious. There are concerns that if she leaves Congress, Republicans could get a weaker or lose their majority, which is only, I think, 2 seats as it is. Which was why it was so surprising when Stefanik, who is an ardent Trump supporter, was going to leave to take that position. And we saw that with Matt Gaetz. Now, fortunately, in Florida, Gaetz' seat has been taken by a Republican. So we don't have that much to worry about. My friends, I actually fear that we're headed towards a dark direction with this. Because what this shows us in Wisconsin is we are not right now in a post-conflict, post-administrative conflict society. Trump's victory and popular mandate may have meaning. 2 months on, those who voted him in don't show up and the Democrat wins. Or they cheated. In which case, believe what you want to believe. I don't know that they cheated. But in which case, if such a scenario is what is actually going on, then don't be surprised if this does come to more serious conflict. Wisconsin Public Radio ran this story March 25th. Top House Democrat says liberal Supreme Court majority only path to revisit Wisconsin's congressional maps. This is not just some talking point. This was the battle. But this is big. Voter ID. Post-millennial reports. A voter ballot issue that was put up to a vote in Wisconsin passed on Tuesday and will amend the state constitution in order to require voter ID for voting elections. According to The Hill, a majority of Wisconsin voters agreed to enshrine voter ID as a requirement for voting in their state constitution. State law already requires voter ID. However, the vote assures the law will be more difficult to change. The voter ID amendment came from a push from Republican lawmakers in the state and around the country. The issue of voter ID amid the border crisis under Joe Biden led to more serious push for voter ID and election integrity laws. Considering they already have voter ID in Wisconsin, I don't know how big of a victory this really is. Sure, they're not going to be able to get rid of it, which could really entrench Democrats, but they still won. However you think they did, they did. Let me pull up this from Pete Berniger. Liberal Susan Crawford did not win the election last night. Well, she did, but let's hear what he has to say. See how she committed election fraud at the end of this tweet. 2023 Wisconsin State Supreme Court race, Brown County, results on the right, around 77,000 voted. Note the percentages. 2024 State Supreme Court, Brown County, results on the left, about 100,000 voted. Virtually the same percentages. Almost like an algorithm is running. 62.7 voted for the referendum requiring voter ID to be the state constitution. Yet liberal Susan Crawford won, with Democrat politicians only having 21% approval rating nationally. And Crawford outright stated that she would repeal the existing statutory voter ID law passed in 2015. That is strange. Now, the first thing I want to say is the 21% national approval rating is for congressional Democrats. A lot of people like to point to the Congress and say, look how low their approval rating is. That proves no. People in their counties usually have very high approval ratings for their or their districts for their member of Congress. Nationally, it's low, always, because most people don't like your member of Congress. But you go to that congressional district and most people are going to be in favor. So the real numbers, to be fair, 29 and 27% favorability among the Democratic Party. Republicans are only around 36. That being said, you'd think the Republicans would win. Once again, I'll stress Trump supporters. So this, let me pause. Carl Benjamin made the point. He said that when the White House posted the Studio Ghibli meme of the fentanyl dealer being arrested, the morbidly obese woman, they should have done that. Republicans need to act like the parents in the room and prove to people they're the right choice for leadership. It's a great point. It's a great point. And maybe that's why people start voting for Democrats. Who knows? Or maybe the Democrats cheated. But Michael Malice made a counterpoint yesterday. He said, sure, but people love being on the bandwagon of memes and jokes and culture. That's a good point, too. There's a lot of people who just, look, they're vandalizing Teslas because they were told to by the internet. And I don't mean a single individual. I mean, they saw memes about it and they destroy their lives and they get felony charges for stupid nonsense. Fair point there. Let's continue on with this assessment alleging fraud. Liberal Susan Crawford committed massive smurfing, i.e. criminal money laundering. A 45-page criminal complaint was filed before the election to the FBI. In addition, Patriot Jay Stone filed a 10-page complaint to the Wisconsin Ethics Commission. And Patriot Julie Seegers filed a judicial complaint to the Wisconsin Judicial Commission. Smurfing is a scourge on our elections across the country. Liberal Crawford and her co-conspirators laundered millions into her campaign. This is election fraud. She, Ben Wickler, Act Blue, and the Wisconsin Democratic Party and others involved must be prosecuted. Take a look at this. So this tweet's 3,500 retweets. I'm going to go ahead and say, look, interesting, but my friend, please do not cope and seethe, because that's really what it sounds like. This is interesting. You take a look at this image. It's probably better we don't zoom in because you can see it better here. And this is Brad Schimmel, Susan Crawford. And this is in, as you stated, this is just Brown County. 48.25% losing to Susan Crawford's 51.43. If we jump back to 2023, I don't know why you chose 2 years. You get, with different vote numbers, dang near the exact same voter percentages. I mean, maybe, I don't know, maybe coincidence. 51.53 for Janet Protasiewicz, I don't know how to pronounce that, and 48.24 for Daniel Kelly. The argument being that this looks algorithmic, that the machine is allotting the votes that go in and then assigning them a percentage basis. Maybe, but show me 2024, and this is a special election. So, guy, I respect that, you're looking into it and you've got issues and you want to challenge it, but this just feels too much like cope and seethe. Trying to claim that it was stolen from you, there is a very obvious fact that I think we need to point out. Trump won in 2016. In 2018, the Democrats took the House. Why? Trump's base did not turn out to vote. That's it. Trump was still largely supported by his base. He was unpopular to a certain degree. Favorability was low, approval was low. But if Trump's base turned out in 2018 the same as 2016, he'd have won. They didn't do it. So in 2020, there was a similar question. And of course, for a variety of reasons, it didn't happen for Trump. 2024, it did. A lot of people were fed up with everything we've seen, the continual bungling by the Biden administration. Mediaite has this story for you. A warning to Mr. Trump. Wall Street Journal declares election results a backlash to the Trump-Musk governing style. Spare me this, okay? It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Let me pull up the Trump approval right now from Real Clear Politics, okay? Trump's within the margin of error of approval. Okay, in aggregate, he's at minus 2.2. It's arguably one of the best he's ever had. Okay, something went wrong. Removed child. So you can take a look at the latest Economist poll with minus 5. But Rasmussen has him up 1. CBS has him tied. Harvard Harris has him up 3. Daily Mail has him down. RMG has Trump up 7. Looks like Trump's polling has improved in the last few weeks of March as he had major negatives. If this trend continues, Trump will return positive in about a week or two. But it doesn't matter. In aggregate, he is down. Totally fair. It is within the margin of error, so it's largely a 50-50 thing. I don't see a backlash to his governing style, except for it rallies Democrats. What ends up happening is liberal voters who are fed up with Biden and largely didn't care are now seeing the propaganda wave. They're hearing over and over again that Trump and Elon are going to gut your Medicaid and your Social Security, which they've said repeatedly they're not going to do, and it's not going to happen. But it doesn't matter because the Democrats can just lie and claim it's going to happen. And their argument is Trump is lying. They just don't want to expose the truth. Sure, I mean, they can't do it before the midterms. So then what? They do it right before 2028 and then hand over the government to Democrats after they commit political suicide? That's ridiculous. But this is the argument they're trying to present. No, the argument I actually give you, my friends, is much, much simpler. Trump's base doesn't turn out for special elections. That's just the way it's been. A lot of people who are satisfied with Trump don't pay attention anymore. Country bad during Biden. People say, what is going on? They go to vote and they say, get Biden out of there. Trump gets in. They say, all done. And they leave. Democrats then win in special elections. To be fair, big voter turnout for a special election, which shows the activation of many people in this country. The Wall Street Journal called Tuesday night's election results a backlash to the Trump-Musk governing style. In a new editorial after Democrats made gains in 2 red Florida congressional districts and easily dispatched a Republican-backed opponent in a Wisconsin state Supreme Court race. Under the headline, the MAGA backlash arrives, the Journal called the comfortable win by Democratic Judge Susan Crawford the second sign in 2 weeks of a political backlash against the Trump presidency. Democrats turned out in large numbers to defeat Republican Judge Brad Schimmel in a race where the two sides may have spent as much as $100 million. This is crazy. Democrats sought to make the race a referendum on Elon Musk and Donald Trump. And Mr. Musk responded by trying to mobilize the Trump voters who tend to stay home in spring elections. As I've been saying, the Democratic bet paid off, observed the editorial. That's a warning to the GOP that the Trump-Musk governing style is stirring a backlash that could cost them control of Congress next year. Indeed. But the backlash is not among those who like Trump or moderates. It's among Democrats who have been motivated now because they're terrified of Trump. You guys, we covered this story on IRL the other day. The MSNBC contributor and expert on fascism has fled the country to Canada because he fears Donald Trump. Yo, I got to tell you, dark days indeed. If Trump loses, if the Democrats, let me just put it this way, guys. Adam Schiff lied. The J6 committee lied. They manipulated evidence. They tried to imprison their political opponents. They unconstitutionally arrested Donald Trump's lawyers. They tried to imprison Donald Trump, tried to seize his properties, accuse him of rape. If Trump loses, if the right loses, and is unwilling to exercise power, y'all are going to live in a Chinese communist style country. Close to it already. That's why I get frustrated to no end when this morning we've got this story. We get this story where Anna Paulina Luna is leading the charge, joining with 9 GOP members joining Democrats because these women believe they should be allowed to be elected to Congress, have a kid, and then get special privileges and vote remotely from home on issues. Now is not the time. Not only am I offended by the DEI initiative being put forward by these GOP reps right now, and it is, now is not the time. Donald Trump going after these institutions, good. But the DOJ better get a move on. Because if they don't, Republicans lose the midterms. Democrats obstruct. Nothing gets done. Trump becomes a lame duck. Gets impeached, not convicted. Probably impeached more than once. 2028 comes around. Democrats fight to regain power. The Democrats in the House are going to obstruct Trump's plans. They will intentionally tank the economy for the purpose of blaming the Republicans so they can win the election in 2028. This is how it goes. They will get into power, they will get in the DOJ, and they will be brutal. They've already been. I think we're going to see media personalities arrested. Not an exaggeration. They've already made their assault on several media personalities. We saw what happened with Mark Zuckerberg talking about censoring people on social media. Now, maybe it's a little hyperbolic or extreme to think that would happen, but I think it would happen if we go down this path. The first thing they do is probably put weight and pressure on many influential personalities on the right to make sure they can't speak anymore. They already did that. That's the point. So Trump and his administration, the only thing I can say is they need to right now start going after Democrats. If they keep playing this game up, but there's an election coming up, that's the end. Now I've got another story for you from the Kenosha County Eye. Drag performer and school board candidate draws community scrutiny and support ahead of the April election. Indeed. They're going to mention Carl Bryan, a candidate for Kenosha Unified School Board, an openly gay man, is facing criticism over his past performances as a drag queen under the name Carlotta Cox. Oh boy. Yeah, he won. I'm going to show you the results. Before we jump into it, though, my friends, smash the like button. Of course, share the show with everyone you know. Thank you all so much for tuning in. You can follow me on X and Instagram at Timcast. Check out castbrew.com using promo code RUMBLE30, Rumble30. You will get 30% off everything, including subscriptions. Take a look at this from Kenosha County. We will just do a quick search and we can see. School board member, Kenosha County School District, you've got Rebecca Stevens, 30%, Carl J. Bryan, 26.49. Now, when I first saw this, I said, well, it looks like he lost. Indeed, he did not. According to WRJN, for the Kenosha Unified School District Board, incumbent Rebecca Stevens and Carl J. Bryan take 2 seats on the board, besting challengers Valerie Kretschmer and Andreas Mamalakis. Your public schools at work, my friends, drag queens on the board, and you know where all of that goes. Should be interesting. Now, Politico is saying that Elon Musk is basically saying it doesn't matter. And then you can see the breaking news. Trump tells Inner Circle that Musk will leave soon. From Politico, Musk said Wisconsin would decide the fate of Western civilization. Now he says he expected to lose. The Musk-backed Brad Schimmel got thumped Tuesday night. Let me just pause, because you know they're going to lie about context. We call what does Michael Mell say? Factual but not truthful. The narrative they're driving with this headline. Musk said this would decide the fate of Western civilization. Now he said he expected to lose. Well, if you actually understand it, it makes perfect sense. The narrative they're driving is that Elon Musk is backtracking. Daily Beast is writing this up saying it was a big game, but then he lost. Now he says, no, it's fine. It's normal. He's coping. No. During the election, you are pressing as hard as you can, even if you expect to lose. You just don't say it. Then when you lose, you say, to be honest, we thought this was going to happen. There you go. Politico reports Republicans lost decisively on Tuesday. Musk catapulted the state Supreme Court election into national view, vocally backing conservative candidate Brad Schimmel, who also clinched President Donald Trump's endorsement and pouring millions into the effort to get him elected. The Wisconsin election, Musk claimed, would decide the trajectory of not only the whole country, but perhaps all of Western civilization and the future of the world, as he said in a Spaces conversation hours before polls closed Tuesday. Despite Musk's effort to land Schimmel a win, the Democratic candidate won. After warning of the dire stakes of the election, Musk changed his tune in the hours following the defeat, seemingly indicating the loss was a part of a bigger plan. Quote, I expected to lose, but there is value to losing a piece for a positional gain. They say he's changing his tune. Again, assess that. The song he was singing was, we have to win, the end is nigh. This is not contradictory. If he came out and said, this election, we are going to win, and then he said, I thought we were going to lose, then you'd be like, okay, there's a contradiction. No. He said it was important. Then later he said, I did think we were going to lose. Okay, no contradiction. Absurdity. The tech entrepreneur whose electric car company Tesla filed a lawsuit in the state earlier year has made Schimmel's campaign a personal project. Following the election, the billionaire said the biggest issue, after all, was Wisconsin Question 1, which added the state's pre-existing voter ID law to its constitution. Early Wednesday morning, Musk reposted a graphic from his America PAC saying that the issue had passed. This was the most important thing. Not entirely wrong. As we heard, the liberal judge wanted to get rid of voter ID, and that would have entrenched the state forever. So this makes sure from now on, voter ID is required in the state. They're going to mention that while Wisconsin has had a voter ID law requiring voters bring a photo ID to the polls for nearly a decade, Tuesday night's election enshrined the law into the state's constitution, making it far more challenging for the state's Democrats to change the law. Very interesting, my friends. But now they're reporting Trump tells Inner Circle that Musk will leave soon. The president is pleased with Musk, but the decision comes as the tech mogul increasingly looks like a political liability. Or it could be that as a special government employee, Elon Musk only gets a certain amount of days. Let me pull up the exact days. Special government employee limit. Let's see, 130 days. A special government employee is an individual appointed to perform a temporary limited service for the government with or without compensation for a maximum of 130 days. We are halfway there. So depending on your definition of soon, it's not that big a deal at all, is it? He can only be here for half a year as it is. Politico reports. President Donald Trump has told his inner circle, including members of his cabinet, that Elon Musk will be stepping back in the coming weeks after his current role as governing partner, ubiquitous cheerleader, and Washington hatchet man. This is not a news piece. It's an opinion piece, but you knew that. The president remains pleased with Musk and his Department of Government Efficiency initiative, but both men have decided in recent days that it will soon be time for Musk to return to his businesses and take on a supporting role, according to 3 Trump insiders who were granted anonymity to describe the evolving relationship. Musk's looming retreat comes as some Trump administration insiders and many outside allies have become frustrated with his unpredictability and increasingly view the billionaire as a political liability. A dynamic that was thrown into stark relief Tuesday when a conservative judge Musk vocally supported lost his bid. Who's Mark? One senior administration official said Musk is likely to retain an informal role as an advisor and continue to be an occasional face around the White House grounds. Another cautioned that anyone who thinks Musk is going to disappear entirely from Trump's orbit is fooling themselves. They have been trying to tear apart these individuals, Trump and Musk, for some time. So whenever I see these stories, particularly from Politico or whatever, I roll my eyes. Sure. They can call it whatever they want, but Elon Musk is helping Donald Trump tremendously in a lot of different ways. So this idea that they're like, no, time to leave. I do think it's fair to say that Elon does need to get back to work. Tesla, SpaceX, all of these projects, they do need him. And he's mentioned it's taken a great toll on him, and Tesla stock has dropped quite a bit. I don't think the reason Tesla stocks is largely due to Democrats whinging and, screaming about it. I think a lot of it has to do with investors saying if the CEO of a company is more preoccupied with an external project, then the company is likely to suffer. And this results in the stock going down. The moment Elon jumps back in Tesla, I think the stock is going to skyrocket. I'm not telling you to buy. But there are a lot of people that are buying the dip. Indeed. Now, while my friends, we have been a bit negative, let me just tell you, actually, yesterday was a pretty dang good day. I mean, let's break it down. Republicans swept in Florida. They won the voter ID issue. They lost the Supreme Court. I know Republicans were coming out and saying the end is nigh. We must win. But that's a rallying cry. When we look at the actual results of yesterday in the special elections, tell me this. As the liberals come out and say, Wisconsin proves a public mandate against Donald Trump. I'm like, maybe in Wisconsin, fair point, sure. But Florida maintained. Florida's special elections, the Republicans swept them. So I'm not seeing this. When they say there's a backlash, this is the annoying thing. I'm going to say it again. A warning to Mr. Trump, a backlash. What are you talking about? In Florida, they won. In Florida, they won. So if you want to split the baby, Wisconsin, they lose half that battle, win voter ID. They win all of Florida. So that's what? 3 out of 4 victories? Where's the backlash? Okay, fair point. Some Democrats have been activated. There is a type of backlash, but it implies that there are Republicans that are mad at Donald Trump. Ain't no way. The Daily Wire's got the report. 2 Republicans swept Florida's special elections on Tuesday in key wins for the GOP. Both Florida House seats have been won big by the Republican candidate, President Trump wrote in a post on Truth. The Trump endorsement has always, as always, proved far greater than the Democrats' forces of evil. Congratulations to America. Republican State Senator Randy Fine is projected to win a special congressional election in Florida on Tuesday, protecting the seat of for the GOP that used to belong to National Security Advisor Mike Waltz. Republican State Senator Fine prevailed over Democrat Josh Weil, 54-46. In the same race, at the time the race was called by NBC News, Florida's 6th is a deep red district that Trump won by 30 points. That being said, Trump won by 30 points and the Republicans still won, but that is a narrow margin. To be fair, this is Mike Waltz's district, so let me pull this up. This is actually, very simply, Florida's 6th. Let's do this. Florida 6th, the results, 2024. And I want to get the archive on this one. We do have it here. Take a look at this. So this is actually pretty bad news for Republicans. Maybe it was too early to say that there's not a backlash. Democrats are being activated. Take a look at this. From November 1924, Mike Waltz won with 66.5% to James Stockton's 33.5%. That's pretty that's pretty crazy, if you ask me. Let's do this. We're going to pull up the election results right now from the New York Times for yesterday, and I can show you right now where we are currently at. You had 195,475 votes cast in yesterday's election. You had 427,464. Here's what matters. 83,000 people voted for Josh Weil, the Democrat. He lost. And the margin is actually 14 points. So the report from Daily Wire is actually off. They said 54-46. It's actually incorrect. It's 56-42. And it's 0.7. So it's a straight 14-point swing. Josh Weil mustered up 83,000 votes, but James Stockton got 143,000. Michael Waltz got 284, and Randy Fine got 110. So it's less than half of the amount of votes that actually came in. The margin did shrink, but again, I'll stress, Republicans who vote Trump don't show up. And even if Democrats are activated, that boost, still not securing it. But I'll say it again. I do think it's fair to say, while it is good news Republicans won, I probably spoke too soon. And I will say, it does look like Republicans going to sleep. Not all of them, but a lot of them. And Democrats are being activated, which is bad news for Donald Trump in the midterms. The Republicans control the House by 2 seats. 2. If this momentum remains and people put the blame on Trump, which is what tends to happen, the Democrats will take the House in 2026. Indeed. They're going to mention Republican Jimmy Patronis was leading Democrat Gay Vallimont. His name is actually Gay Vallimont by 56-43 in Florida's 1st congressional district called by the New York Times. So I think, here we go, right here. Jimmy Patronis has defeated Gay Vallimont, Gay's a woman, 56-42. So comparable margins right there. And you can see very interesting, the districts. This one went blue. But the Republicans did win, and I think we don't have the results there. The seats are key wins for Republicans' momentum in special elections has appeared to shift towards Democrats after Trump's election. The GOP's thin majority in the House has placed severe pressure on House Speaker Mike Johnson and GOP leaders to hold the fractious caucus together. GOP Rep. Elise Stefanik was previously Trump's pick to represent the United States at the United Nations. The White House pulled her nomination last week in order to protect the Republicans' thin majority in the House as Johnson attempts to act on Trump's legislative agenda. I got to say, I was surprised. I was absolutely surprised that they were going to try and pull Elise Stefanik out of Congress. Does not seem like a good idea, my friends. Certainly does not. Now, here's the bad news for Trump. The probability of a recession is approaching 50%, Deutsche Markets survey finds. Here's a strategy that I assure you, there are going to be consultants that are throwing at Donald Trump. Tank the economy today. People aren't paying attention. There's very few elections. Launch the tariffs today. Get it done. The economy is going to burn. just before the midterms, within the 2 months to the midterms, start reversing some of these policies, declaring victory, and let the economy start to rebound so that the narrative can be this. For the average person, a month is an eternity in politics. If for a year, let's say it's starting today, the economy is doing bad and retirements are bad and people are going, oh no, they adapt. They normalize. So the strategy, and I'm not saying it's a good strategy or should be done. I'm saying I guarantee you consultants are proposing this. Just before the election cycle starts, start to alleviate the stresses and then at once get a big bang, a big boost to the economy. What's going to happen then is the average person is going to start laughing and saying, Trump did it. He fixed the economy. Give the credit to the Republicans, make the Republicans do something big, and then people are going to vote for them because each and every one of those Republicans is going to say at their rallies, in their districts, the work we did in Congress saved your retirements, saved your Medicare, saved your Social Security. If the Republicans aren't smart enough to play this game, then they lose. But I got to be honest, my friends, politics ain't no game of honesty. And it actually is quite easy. The Republicans can very easily set up the Democrats to take the blame for any kind of economic disaster or damage. And then, come the midterms, swoop in and save the day. It's a common political ploy. Now, I'm going to stress it again. As we're looking at fears of a recession, we have this other story. Goldman Sachs lifts U.S. recession probability to 35%. Yikes. If this hits, I hate to say it, now is the perfect time to benefit Donald Trump. Democrats should be very worried about this because if Trump acts to alleviate any kind of recession in the months leading up to the midterms and the Republicans play a role in that, it's going to help them win. Here's what you need to understand. The saying goes that a paraplegic and a lottery winner, 1 year after the pivotal moments, register the same degree of happiness. A man wins the lottery. He's super rich. A year later, it's, life's okay. A man is a rock climber. He falls, breaks his spine. He's miserable. A year later, life is what it is because humans adapt. And it sounds kind of brutal, doesn't it? If the economy gradually improves from now, people will fall asleep and they'll ignore elections. That's how you get a Democrat victory in Wisconsin because the people who voted for Trump are content. They got nothing to complain about. So they tune out. They turn the football game on. Life is good. If things get bad, they tune in. What's happening? Why is there a recession? Donald Trump then has two plays. The Democrats did this, and we're fixing it right now. Then, as people are feeling like life is at their worst, and they don't know why, because they do tune out, the Republicans swoop in and save the day, and then they win the House again in the midterms. That's the play. Because, again, I'll stress, if Donald Trump maintains the economy, it's well, people will adapt and they'll expect more. They'll say, I want to buy this new car, but I can't make enough money. It's the big ask in political and national politics. Donald Trump's famous for it. The strategy is you go to someone and say, I'll tell you what, I'm going to sell this delicious pure tart cherry juice for $100. And the person goes, $100? That's insane. Say, well, what can you offer? That thing's probably only worth $10 at best. Okay, $20. I'll come down all the way to 20. And they go, whoa, now I'm getting a deal. When in reality, the things cost $6 or something like that. That's the big ask, which means you need to give a person you need to impose the perspective on the individual. If Trump goes for a national level big ask strategy and then pulls things back and people feel like they've won, they vote for Donald Trump. But my friends, we'll see. All that matters is you guys remain active participants in this great cultural battle we face. Trump's base didn't turn out in 2018. And what happened? He got impeached right away. With this move we've seen so far, it's looking good for Democrats. Still, Republicans are winning. They've maintained their seats. Good luck, I guess. What's going to have to happen is from now, Trump's got to do it right now. I'm sorry. If Trump's going to go after the corrupt Democrat politicians, it must be now. Donald Trump cannot, during a midterm cycle, be arresting corrupt politicians because it creates a narrative. But if right now Donald Trump were to arrest criminal elements of the government and I mean this literally, people in government who committed discernible crimes for which Trump has evidence, the DOJ has evidence, they get a warrant from a judge, and they can prove beyond a reasonable doubt, if they make those moves, come the midterms, it will be yesterday's noise, not even news. That's how he wins. Maybe. I'm just saying it needs to be done because we've got a lot of bad people in Congress, a lot of bad people in the DOJ and in government, and we have questions. So I do have great fears, my friends. You know, there have been people who have suggested that prominent media personalities, including myself, will be arrested on dubious made-up charges. Look what they did to Alex Jones over the Sandy Hook stuff. Who knows where this country is headed? Alec Baldwin recently said civil war. Heavens, how could he have said that? My friends, smash the like button, share this show with everyone you know if you really do like the work that I do and you think it's important. I would appreciate it because sharing really does make it expansive. And if everybody who watched, especially this far, were to share right now, we have the biggest show in the world. Smash the like button. We're going to be rating our good friend Russell Brand in just a minute, but for now, I will grab your chats, my friends. So we'll start to gear up and get ready for our good friend Russell Brand. Big fan, by the way. Shout out to Steven Crowder and the Mug Club as well. And as we're getting ready for all of this, we'll grab some of your chats. G Stu says tariffs are not going to tank the economy because the world media is saying it doesn't make it so. They said it in 16-2. Jobs are up, stock is up. It will be a regular Joe boom like never before. I think that the tariffs cause panic in the market because the media is claiming, and this results in stock sell-offs and fears, resulting in 401ks going down and people worrying. But I do agree. Tariffs ultimately will improve the U.S. economy. I've been saying over and over again. You know, it's funny. You'd think Democrats concerned about climate change would love tariffs and love electric cars. They don't. Here we go. Plagan says not only did Wisconsin elect leftist Supreme Court and state superintendent, but Kenosha elected a drag queen to the school board. My daughter will not be attending any of these schools. Even in West Virginia, the school boards are woke and they're teaching gender ideology stuff. My kid ain't going anywhere near that stuff. My kid's going to work on a farm. She's going to tend to goats and chickens and have a good life and get good private education. I know I'm fortunate enough to have that capability, but I'll say in terms of private education, I'm not talking about schooling. I'm talking about homeschooling, tutoring. No. There's no reality where my kid is going to be sent off to an institutionalized learning facility. I don't care who runs it. It ain't happening. Maybe we'll do a pod with our other friends and families who have children similar ages. I think that's the appropriate way to do it. The kids will be friends with each other. They will be influenced by each other, but still within the sphere of protection. There's a lot of people who say, Tim, you're funny. You can't control what your kid becomes. You're wrong. You're completely wrong. You know, I have friends and they're like, my kids love this show on YouTube and it's an awful show. And I'm like, how do they know it exists? How did ever the circumstance arise where your 4 or 5-year-old discovered this thing? You allowed them to be exposed to it. Now, far be it for me to claim I'm invincible, I'm the best, and I'm not subject to global forces. I'm sure there will be influences on my child that I will try to protect her from. My point is, there are a lot of things my kid ain't going to see. Maybe one day she'll be old enough and she'll watch these videos and she'll be like, how about that? What do we got? Squigum says we need Timcast emojis. Indeed, we need Timcast emojis. I will request of my team to make some. Big D says, no $500 today. Just wanted to thank everyone who donated my project. Already in one day, we reached 14% of our goal for Shadows of Isolation. Hey, man, I'm really glad you were able to make it that far. And I believe, 14% is fantastic. So for those that didn't see the show yesterday, our good friend Big D was trying to Rumble rant. I believe it was probably $5, but he accidentally sent 500 and started panicking because it was not intended. And it's a lot of money. But don't worry. We helped him at givesendgo.com/shadows of isolation. And so no good deed goes unpunished, sir. I mean that jokingly. We helped you raise 40% of your goal. I wish you the best of luck, and I hope this money helps you out. Copium Poppy says, check out our first episode we just released yesterday. It features samples of Tim on a couple tracks, as well as Styx, Hex, and Hammer. It's available on Spotify, Apple Music, Deezer, the internet. Ha. That is a Phil Labonte reference. Barry N. McGrowan, we need the AutoPen scandal to go to court. If not, legal arrest of all the people who received fake pardons. Well, not an arrest of them for receiving a fake pardon, but if someone received a pardon that was auto-penned, challenge it in court. I think auto-pen is unconstitutional. Pinochet says if the far left ever regains power, they will enslave everyone right of Mao or take out the peasants. Yikes. Desert Army Man says Rumble being blocked on government computers as of this morning. What? Are you saying in the United States? Where? Pinochet says DC District Court judge issues nationwide injunction on Trump's tariffs. Is that a joke or is it actually happened? Did a judge actually do that? I don't see it. Because you may just be kidding. I get it, but that sounds real. All right. Dom Kogan says, trying to make an open source battery pack. Is this something I can find help with in your Discord? I've joined, but don't see any channels outside of rules and community updates. So we do a general chat where when you sign up, you get access to the general chat. After 6 months, you get upgraded to get a higher tier access instantly with no extra charge. Or for $25 a month, you get instant upgraded access. I know it kind of sucks. We had to do it because we had far left Antifa types trying to raid and cause problems. And we have staff that run the Discord. So we had a workload burden on far left lunatics who were trying to disrupt the community. They would go in and they would try. I don't want to get into great detail because I don't want to risk the security of the Discord. Let's just say they were doing harmful things. And so we were like, how do we gate this? So we were like, what if we made it so that after a certain period of time, you get upgraded access and there's more rooms and more availability? It's like, yeah, but there's a lot of people who are genuine fans who want to sign up right now and get access and can't. Okay, so what if we made it so you got to pay a higher tier to get access to the full thing? Yeah, but then you're making it about money. And it's like, I wish there was an easy answer, but we did both. So for $25 a month, you are instantly upgraded to full access. For $100 a month, you are in the elite club where you have a special privied access room. And I don't think we've maintained it the way we wanted to because what we're trying to do for the elite club is make in-person events. So when we're doing the Culture War Live, we're hoping that we're going to have like VIP for elite club members. But Culture War is going to be a live debate show with you as members joining us at the table. Let me stress, this one's big for you guys. Jubilee, it's a fun show. I can't watch it. I was trying to watch it with Eleazar Perez again and Dr. Michael. And it's like a guy's debating and then they raise their flags like debate's over. And I'm like, bro, didn't even finish his point. I get it that they get millions and millions of views. But dude, the guy was debating and they raised their flags and they shut the debate down and make him leave. It's like, Eliezer was asking questions saying, if you think this, what about this? It's a Socratic method. And then the people in the audience and on the chairs are bored. So they're like, shut it down. Okay. So I like the concept, executed poorly. I also think Kill Tony's funny. We said, let's do both. The Culture War Live. Right now, we're aiming for once a month, but I want to do it once a week. Hard to do, very expensive. We have a small venue for a preliminary shoot. We're going to have 40 seats. Members of Timcast Discord server are going to be able, I believe the link is already up to get your tickets. It's probably going to sell it instantly because there's only 40 available. It's going to be in the DC area. You come and you sit down. We are going to have the table set up for a debate on a principal issue pertaining to the culture war. We've already got some liberals lined up, strong liberals that are fast and quick-witted, though wrong. I will say wrong, but I respect them. So it's going to be fun. We are going to have an open seat, and you as members of the Discord can submit your debate talking point. We will choose a handful of those individuals that have signed up to actually join the table with us live and debate all of us. We want to give people an opportunity to be a part of the conversation. Like I said, be active participants. We're hoping this is a way that y'all don't just sit by and watch, but you're like, you mean I can get up there? How many of you are like, man, Tim is so wrong about this? How would you like to sit in that chair and tell me I'm wrong? I respect and accept, and we want you to do it. Limited availability. I think we're looking at 5 or 6 people to come up during each episode, which is 2 hours long. We're doing our best. Maybe we can even expand it once a week, but I wouldn't be there for every single one. The Culture War would then feature other guest hosts. I'm hoping we can pull this off. I think we're going to do it. We want to create a space where all of you get to be a part of that conversation. So join the Timcast Discord server at timcast.com. Sign up now. Get in. Take control of the conversation, man. Be a participant. It is time to raid Russell Brand, my friends. And we're going to send all y'all his way. I believe he is currently live. Let the raid begin. And I'm going to post the link in there for all you guys that are currently watching live. And pin that so you can see it. Jump on over. Shout out to Russell Brand, everybody. I'm a big fan. Thank you all so much for watching. Big moves are coming ahead. Follow me on X and Instagram at Timcast. Like I said, Rumble30 is the promo code at castbrew.com. 30% off all our coffees. Join the Timcast Discord server. Thanks for hanging out, and we will see you all at Timcast IRL tonight, 8 p.m. Don't miss it.